This is the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Joining us as our spiritual director is a new spiritual director for us. Let's say hello to Father Patrick Broussard. Talking today about confession. Ellen is calling in from San Francisco. Ellen, welcome to the Inner Life.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. My experience was I did not receive absolution. I was in my 20s and sleeping around, and I had this relationship with this man, and I confessed it. And the priest said, "Are you sorry?" And I go, well, maybe, but he's waiting for me down the street. And he goes, "I cannot give you absolution." I said, "What?" And I walked out of that confessional stunned, just stunned. But it planted a huge seed in me. Within a year, that man, I was going to let him move in. My mom, with tears in her eyes, my mom never cried. She said, "If I let you do that, you cannot come back to this house. There's 3 younger siblings. That means it's okay, and it's not okay with me." She had tears in her eyes. I drove my car 1 mile to where the man was waiting to move his stuff into my apartment, and I said, "No, I can't do it." It broke up the relationship, thanks be to God. And then one more seed was a friend of mine several years later said, "How can you call yourself Christian and still sleep around outside of marriage?" And I go, "What are you talking about? This is the 70s. What are you talking?" And so those 3 seeds were planted. And I tell you, the relationship that I was in the early 80s, within about 3-4 years, we became celibate and have been celibate since. And thanks be to God, my mom, it was the priest, a family member, and a friend. And they planted these 3 seeds, and it transformed my life with the sexual sin, with sleeping around. And I know that's pretty common.
Wow, what a beautiful story. And yeah, that's a tough thing to do as a priest in the confessional. Part of what has to be there for the sacrament to happen is there has to be sorrow for sin, which we generally assume if someone's coming to the confessional. But then there also has to be a certain degree of an intention to change. And this comes up a lot with, sort of persistent sins. One that's very common would be like contraception. So like the birth control pill, because it's a sort of a long-term thing. And that doesn't mean that someone has to come to the confessional and say, "You know what, Father, I'm so tired of this sin and I'm never going to do it ever again." I mean, you just have to give the smallest little willingness to try to change or to think about trying to change for that. So it's kind of a bold move for that priest to challenge you in that way. But I'm happy to hear that it worked out. And and all 3 of those people, we hope and we pray and we think that they did that out of love for you, right? And to convert and to come into a deeper relationship with the Lord.
Yeah. Ellen, thank you so much for sharing that, for your vulnerability as well, because I think that does speak to the heart of a lot of what people are facing these days. And yeah, I run into frequently people who have little to no idea that the church would have anything to say about a sexual relationship outside of marriage. But that's kind of the society, the water we swim in right now. But I appreciate the fact that it made such a huge impact on you. So God bless you. God bless this priest, this family member, and this friend who God spoke through to you in all these wonderful ways. So thanks for the call, Ellen. Really appreciate it. Like what you just heard? Share it with your family and friends. And thanks for listening.